Welcome to Motivational Humanity. You are not alone. Good morning, everyone. Have you ever had one of those moments where you're standing on the edge of something big, something new, something terrifying, and instead of jumping, you start talking yourself out of it? You analyze, overthink, poll a few friends, read an article, maybe 2, maybe 10. Before you know it, you've spent weeks planning to start, and yet nothing has happened. Yeah, me too. So today we're talking about what happens when we let go of excuses, perfectionism, and fear, and just shut up and do it. We like to think that perfectionism is a good thing, that it means we have high standards, that we care about doing things right. But here's the hard truth. Perfectionism is not the pursuit of excellence. It's the fear of failure in disguise. How many times have you stopped yourself from starting something because you didn't feel ready? How many times have you rewritten the same email, tweaked the same project, planned the same goal over and over without ever actually moving forward? Perfectionism keeps us stuck in the cycle of preparation, always waiting for the right moment, the perfect skill set, the absolute certainty that we won't fail. And because that moment never actually arrives, we stay where we are. But here's what I want you to know. Progress doesn't happen in the waiting. It doesn't happen in the endless revisions, the overanalyzing, or the hesitation. Progress happens when you begin, even when it's messy, even when you feel unqualified, even when you're scared. Perfectionism tells you that you have to get it all right before you take the first step. But the truth, you learn by doing. You get better by showing up. No one starts as an expert, and no one avoids mistakes. The people who succeed aren't the ones who got it perfect the first time. They're the ones who started before they were ready, stumbled along the way, and kept going anyway. If you let perfectionism drive, you'll spend your life planning, but never doing. You'll sit on ideas that could change your life, waiting for the day you finally feel worthy of acting on them. And I hate to break it to you, but that day isn't coming. So what if instead of aiming for perfect, you aimed for done? What if you let go of the fear of making mistakes and focused on making moves instead? Because the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be isn't your lack of skill or lack of knowledge or lack of preparation. It's your fear of imperfection. And here's the truth. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. Let's talk about vulnerability, because if we're going to have an honest conversation about showing up, taking action, and doing the hard things, we have to talk about what it really means to put ourselves out there. And let me be clear, vulnerability is not weakness. It's not a flaw or a shortcoming. In fact, it's the most accurate measure of courage that we have. When we hesitate to take action, when we sit on our dreams instead of chasing them, when we hold back instead of stepping forward, it's usually not because we don't want it enough. It's because deep down, we're afraid of what will happen if we fail. We're afraid of looking foolish, of getting rejected, of being seen, trying, and not succeeding. So we do this thing where we protect ourselves. We avoid situations where we might not have all the answers. We don't speak up in the meeting unless we're sure we're right. We don't apply for the job unless we're certain we'll get it. We don't share our ideas, our art, our thoughts. Because what if people don't like them? What if they don't like us? But here's the paradox of vulnerability. The very thing we avoid, being seen, being imperfect, being exposed, is exactly where the magic happens. Think about the moments that changed your life. The job you took, even though you weren't sure you were qualified, the relationship you fought for, even though love is never a guarantee, the risk you took that paid off, or maybe didn't, but taught you something anyway, none of those moments happened in safety. They happened in uncertainty, in risk, in vulnerability. We convince ourselves that if we wait long enough, we can do things without feeling vulnerable, that one day we'll be able to step up without feeling afraid. But that day never comes. Vulnerability is the price of admission for anything worth having. Love, creativity, leadership, success, all of them require us to be seen, to take risks, to show up even when we don't know how it will turn out. So the question isn't, how do I get rid of vulnerability? The question is, am I willing to feel uncomfortable in order to grow? Because if you're waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel safe, waiting to know for sure that you won't fail, you're going to be waiting forever. Everything you want, the impact, the connection, the change, it's on the other side of vulnerability. And the only way to get there is to step into it, embrace it, and trust that no matter what happens, you are strong enough to handle it. We have this idea that confidence is something you have before you start something new. That people who take risks, chase their dreams, or put themselves out there do it because they already feel confident, that they were born with some unshakable belief in themselves that the rest of us are just waiting to develop. But let's be honest. How often have you put something off because you didn't feel ready? How many times have you told yourself, once I feel more confident, I'll go for it? Whether it's speaking up, starting a project, making a big life change, or simply putting yourself in a situation where you could fail, we convince ourselves that confidence is a prerequisite, that if we just wait long enough, one day we'll wake up ready. That's not how it works. Confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. And the only way to build it is through action. Think about it. When was the last time you did something hard, something that scared you? Maybe it was a big presentation, a job interview, a tough conversation, or a new challenge you weren't sure you could handle. Before you did it, you probably felt unprepared, nervous, maybe even convinced you were going to fail. But then you did it, and even if it wasn't perfect, you survived. You proved to yourself that you could do it, and next time, it won't feel quite as scary. That's how confidence works. It's not about knowing you can do something before you start. It's about proving to yourself that you can do hard things by doing them. And let me tell you, some of the most confident people you admire, they didn't start that way. They weren't born fearless. They were just willing to take the first step before they felt confident. Willing to be uncomfortable, willing to risk failing, knowing that even failure teaches you something valuable. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll never start. Because confidence doesn't come from sitting on the sidelines, analyzing, overthinking, or preparing until everything is perfect. It comes from stepping into the arena, uncertain, maybe even terrified, and doing it anyway. So if there's something you've been holding back on because you don't feel confident enough, here's the truth. Confidence isn't the starting point, it's the result. And the only way to get there is to take action before you're ready, before you're sure, before you have it all figured out, because action creates confidence every single time. Your comfort zone is a master storyteller. It whispers convincing lies, and it does it so well that you believe every single one. Stay here, it's safe. You're not ready yet. You don't want to embarrass yourself. And if you fail, what if people judge you? And so you stay. You tell yourself you'll take that leap eventually when you're more prepared, when you feel braver, when you're absolutely certain it'll work out. You sit in the familiar, in the routine, in the things that feel easy and predictable. And for a while it feels good. It feels like relief. But let's be honest, there's a part of you that knows you're meant for more. A part of you that feels restless, that dreams about doing something bigger, something meaningful. A part of you that aches to take that risk, to step up, to grow. And here's the truth. Your comfort zone isn't a place of safety. It's a place of stagnation. Nothing new happens there. No growth, no breakthroughs, no real sense of fulfillment. Because all the things you really want, success, adventure, purpose, confidence, love, connection, they all exist outside of that comfortable little space you've been hiding in. Think about the times in your life when you felt the most alive, the moments that shaped you, the decisions that changed you. I guarantee they weren't the easy ones. They weren't the ones that kept you safe and small. They were the ones that stretched you, that scared you, that forced you to be braver than you thought you could be. Because growth is uncomfortable, change is uncomfortable, but so is staying stuck in a life that doesn't challenge you, inspire you, or push you toward your potential. So here's the question. Are you willing to trade short-term comfort for long-term fulfillment? Are you willing to feel the fear and do it anyway? Because the truth is, your comfort zone isn't actually protecting you, it's just limiting you. And the life you want, the one you know you're capable of creating, it's waiting for you. But you have to be willing to step out and claim it. We've been taught to believe that perfect is the goal, that if something isn't done flawlessly, it's not worth doing at all. We convince ourselves that we need more time, more planning, more tweaking before we can finally put our work out into the world. But here's the truth that most people don't want to admit. Perfection is just procrastination in disguise. How many times have you had an idea, a goal, or a dream that you never followed through on because you wanted it to be just right? How many times have you rewritten the same email, reworked the same project, or delayed taking action because you told yourself it wasn't ready yet? But ready is an illusion, perfect is an illusion, and waiting for either one keeps you stuck in the same place. Watching other people move forward while you're still standing at the starting line, second guessing yourself. What if, instead of obsessing over making something flawless, you focused on making it finished? What if you accepted that getting it done, even if it's messy, even if it's not perfect, is infinitely more valuable than never doing it at all? Because here's the thing, perfection isn't real, but progress is. The people you admire, the ones who are out there creating, succeeding, making an impact, they aren't waiting until they have it all figured out. They're starting before they're ready. They're putting things out into the world, learning from their mistakes, making adjustments, and improving as they go. That's how success happens. Not by holding on to an idea forever, hoping one day it'll be perfect, but by taking messy, imperfect action, by finishing things, putting them out there, and refining over time. And I get it. Letting go of perfectionism is hard. We think that if we don't strive for perfection, we're settling for mediocrity, but that's not true. Doing your best and chasing excellence is great, but perfection isn't excellence. It's fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of not being enough. But here's the truth. You are enough right now. And the work you're creating, the actions you're taking, the dreams you're chasing, they deserve to be seen, even in their imperfect form, because done is better than perfect every single time. So my challenge to you today is this. Stop waiting, stop perfecting, stop talking yourself out of it, but just shut up and do it. Because the world doesn't need more plans. It needs more people showing up. And that starts with you. Thank you.